Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Rohr Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Laura Sturm.
All right, welcome to episode 110. We do have a winner.
Are you going to announce it or am I?
Oh, you are.
Okay. So it was close. It was the highest vote tally that we've had during any of our tournaments. It was very close. 70 to 68 was the vote count. And the winner is Amy Pancake by 2 votes over Don Dotson. I got to say that's an upset because Don has had a significantly higher amount of votes on every round so far. But I think Amy rallied the troops. Full disclosure here, we may have tampered with the voting a little bit inadvertently. Let me explain. So we tagged 110%, which is the sponsor for this, and 110% reposted it and said, MASH is goated, so Don needs to win. MASH was one of Don's theme songs on her list. So I'm like, okay, that's swaying the vote a little bit. So we posted from the Team Rohr site, Instagram, that, you should vote for Amy or we'll assume you like to kick puppies. And
wow.
I think, so my preference would be to have not had either of those posted, but I felt like since 110, which is the sponsor for this, posted basically vote for Don, I'm like, well, we kind of got to even it out and somebody needs to say vote for Amy. So that's what we did. And it literally came down to 2 votes. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I feel a little bit weird that because we absolutely tampered. Like there's no question, like both ways. And that really isn't what I was hoping to get out of this. So long story short, Amy won, but going forward, we may try to make the voting anonymous and not put people's names on it and just put the lists out.
Ooh, that would actually be good because then it wouldn't be a popularity contest. It would be actually about music.
And
Ooh.
I think, now obviously individuals could still share it and say, vote for me. Right. Or this is my list, vote for me or whatever.
This is my list. Yeah. Covert.
Yeah. People could still do that. But I think that, I don't know. This is the first time that this situation came up where an influence that was part of
It was election tampering.
There was definitely election tampering. Wow. And I don't feel
election.
Yeah. So anyway, Don, I apologize kind of, I guess, because like technically we only responded the way we did because, and Don actually messaged me. She's like, really, man, like kick puppies. I'm like, well, it got people's attention. So anyway, yeah. So Don, wow. I'm probably on Don's shit list right now because.
So you're saying 68 people like to kick puppies?
Based on that, yeah. Again, I assume that's my assumption. So anyway, congratulations to Amy Pancake. It is what it is at this point. 70 to 68. So Amy is going to win the $50 gift card from 110%. And you can check them out on Instagram at 110% or at papasups.com. One thing I did want to mention is they did just come out with a new apparel design they just released. Anybody that obviously, if you didn't win, you still can go to the website and buy stuff from them. Like they are still a great company. Like you don't have to, avoid them because you didn't win.
Kicking puppies.
Yeah, because you're kicking puppies. And then there's supplement wise, they just came out with a new flavor called Tropical Lime, and everybody seems to like it. So, so definitely check them out. But I think, going forward, I think we got to figure out a way not to have the tampering possibility as easy. But the thing is, like 110, they could have still said vote for this list because MASH is goated and this list needs to win. So I don't know. It still could have happened, but I don't know. I feel like not having names on there makes it a little bit more skewed, and especially if we like, I don't know. We'll have to think on that, how to make it more anonymous and just have some sort of like key. But then there's less transparency too, because like people don't know who they're voting for. And then I just say, oh, Josh won this round. And everybody's like, well, what was his list? Doesn't matter. I won. So I don't know. We got to figure out a way to make it a little bit more anonymous, but still be able to, I guess, you know what we could do? We could maybe just for transparency's sake, we could always take screenshots of the votes.
Yeah. Now we can figure out some way.
Maybe then again, maybe we're taking this way too seriously. I don't know.
Well, I favor making it about the music because let's face it, this is powerlifting, power ballads, right? And we have these power ballad type contests in good fun. But yet at some point, it's like I still think sometimes it gets to be a popularity contest when it comes down to the end. Like how many 12-year-olds can you recruit to vote for you is how you win. And it really should be about the music. It's all about the music and the lifting.
Yeah, I think it's 100% a popularity contest, honestly.
That's why you never win.
And that's why I never win. That's not, yeah. Man.
I didn't win either.
So that sucks.
Mad about that.
When you put it that way, that really makes me feel bad about myself.
Good. I'm glad that worked. All right. So GOAT status.
Yeah, this was on my mind. I see people posting all over the place like so-and-so has reached GOAT status or so-and-so is the GOAT, greatest of all time. And I know I genuinely believe they don't literally mean it like the best of all time, but I think some people do. And I'm curious, like, what are the parameters? Like what to be considered best of all time? Like personally, I think there needs to be like a minimum number of years that you've one competed, but been like at the top level. I think there needs to be like certain amount of titles, maybe certain dot score. I don't know, maybe certain amount of battles that you won in a really tightly contested meet. I don't know. I'm asking you. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think years, titles, records, world records, I mean, in a real federation.
Yeah. That's a good disclaimer. But what is the threshold there? Is it so? To me, I think somebody has to be considered like a GOAT in powerlifting. I think you need to have been competing at a high level for 10 years or more. And there's a lot of lifters nowadays that are, have won 2 or 3 national titles, and they might very well be one of the greatest of all time when all is said and done. But to call them that now, I can't do that. I don't think that's fair to people that have done it for a longer period of time. That's just my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong.
Well, if you came out of nowhere and then broke all the world records, then could you be a GOAT?
No, I still say no. Like, to me, I say no. Like, as an example, you have some rando that comes out of nowhere and breaks the world record in like the first year of competing and then goes away and never competes again. I don't think you can call them the GOAT because they, total wise, they maybe had the best total ever, but there's people that had more titles. There's people that, done more, I think. And I don't know. That's my opinion. I maybe my opinion's wrong there, but that's how I feel about it.
All right. 3 examples. Go.
3 examples of what?
Yes. Of GOATs.
3 examples of GOATs. Wow. I think, I don't know. I haven't done my research on this. I'm not going to do this either. I can give you like 10 examples of people being called GOATs on social media that are definitely not, but I don't think I should go there. I don't think I should go there either, because that's really just like throwing salt and wounds.
Yeah. All right. We can just delete this out then.
No, I'll leave it. I didn't name names. He named names.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. And I just see it going around like 1 out of 2. Again, I made that stat up. Posts that I see on social media are like, so-and-so has reached GOAT status, blah, blah, blah. So there's another tie into this. So USA Powerlifting a week ago They posted a video of Wade Hooper. It says flashback to Wade squatting 815, weight in the 181 weight class for an American record. It still stands to this day. Fun fact: in this meet, he competed directly against two other USAPL legends, David Ricks and Josh Rohr. And here's where I have, like, yeah, that's flattering, but first of all, I got 7th place at that meet, so it implies that it was a close battle. And Wade and Ricks, I would consider them USA powerlifting legends. I am not one. Have I been involved for a long time? Yes. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't like that. I don't think that that's fair to the other lifters that actually are legends. So maybe they're tying in like my contributions outside of competing myself, but I feel like this post was specifically about
lifting
and there's 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd place not mentioned on here that all placed higher than I did. So if we're talking from a competitive standpoint, like I shouldn't have been mentioned there at all. Now,
so how many internet douchebags called out Josh Rohr is not?
Only one, Cameron Barlow.
I'm not saying he's a douchebag, but
no, he's not. But he's right. No. He's like, so his comment was when referring to Josh Rohr against Hooper and Ricks, quote, competed directly may be considered a slightly misleading phrase. So I wrote back. Yeah, I mean, I got 7th. I missed my 3rd pull of 661, which would have given me 6th. In all fairness, I think everyone knows that I could have pulled 953 for the win if I really wanted to. I did the math. 953 is what it would have taken for me to beat Wade.
Wow. So that would have been an amazing attempt.
Yeah, I should have loaded it. If I would have known I was going to miss my 3rd anyway, I would have loaded it. Why not?
Right. You might as well miss 953.
I missed the biggest pull of the meet.
Yeah, because that counts.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I don't know. Those are just things that I've been seeing a lot, like legend status and GOAT status, and I think that's way used too loosely. And it's kind of devalues people that actually are GOATs and legends, in my opinion.
Yeah, agree. So,
anyway,
we might have to do a GOAT series.
Well, so Two White Lights did one a while back. Like they did like a GOAT draft, and they had like 4 people drafting like their greatest of all time list, and they got a few right, but they missed a lot. There were most of them were not using any lifters prior to like 10 years ago. They got a few in there, but there's so many people from history that I think have a lot better resume and accomplishments than a lot of lifters today. Even if the numbers aren't as good, I mean, I think you got to look at titles. I mean, at the end of the day, powerlifting is a competitive sport. There are titles to be won. It's not always just about the numbers you lift. It's about the head-to-head competition, titles, things like that too. So I don't know. It's an interesting debate though, because they had a lot of feedback, good and bad, about their lists. It served its purpose, created some intrigue.
Right. Chatter.
So quick ProSeries update. I am actually stepping back as the person, I guess the go-to person for the ProSeries, and Joe Stanek is actually going to take over. So I'm still going to be involved, and basically I am going to be Joe's assistant per se, versus the point of contact, mainly just because I'm not as available to do as much, I guess, right now, new kid, things like that. So, I don't want the ProSeries to suffer because of me, and I feel like I would be the weak link at this point. So Joe is willing to step up, and I think he's a good fit for it. Very involved in the specifically in the open raw side as a coach. Knows a lot of the other coaches real well, and I think would have a better, just a better feel for that aspect of it anyway. And then I'll still stay involved kind of on the equip side and, the masters side too. So I think it's going to be a good change. I think he's already mentioned he's got some ideas and he ran them by me, and I think they're pretty good. So we'll see where he goes with that. But yeah, it's basically another load off my shoulders, I guess. So I can kind of focus more on family and things like that right now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So,
yeah, because newborns are fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. She's 8 weeks old as of this past yesterday.
Yeah. You had a wedding anniversary, didn't you?
Yeah.
Or you're about to.
Yep. September 30th was our 5-year anniversary.
Wow.
So yeah, we went and got some sushi. We went to the Falcons and Browns game, and we're both Cleveland Browns fans, and it just so happens that the Browns were playing the Falcons in Atlanta, where we live, on our anniversary weekend. So we went and we lost. What
did you expect?
I expected to win, to be honest. This is our year, I thought, and it still might be, but man, we lost to the Falcons. And I would normally, outside of if they ever play the Browns, I would always root for the Falcons. So I'm not like against the Falcons, but I'm for the Browns. So kind of disappointing there. Yeah. And we also went to the Browns game in Ohio, where we got married the day after our wedding, and they lost really bad there. So I guess, keeping up with the trends. In fact, that was the year 2017 was the year that they lost every single game. They went 0-16 that year. So they've already won 2 games this year. So we're doing better than that.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Because 0-16. Wow.
Yeah. It's not great.
It was great. Great year.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, let's move on to our powerlifting situation. So Josh, if you could choose your powerlifting legacy, since we're talking about legacies, would you rather win 10 open national titles but never hit a top 10 all-time total in your weight class, or total the highest of all time in your weight class but have your career cut short from injury?
10 open national titles. Hands down.
Don't wish an injury on yourself.
Yeah. And it doesn't, this scenario doesn't specify like how cut short your career is, but I think the assumption is clearly less than 10 national titles. So that to me is probably less than 10 years. So I think that, I wouldn't want to go that route. Yeah, I'll take the 10 titles over the all-time highest total, because that'll end up getting broke at some point. Somebody will break it. So then you're left, titles are forever. Like records are going to be broken eventually. So yeah, I think to me, 10 national titles every time.
That's a good point.
You?
I agree. I don't know. I kind of feel like I want to be that flame that comes up and gets the highest, all-time total, and then just crashes and burns.
I mean, that's the thing. Like you could, and that's the thing. People nowadays are calling people like that the GOAT, and it's not. I just don't think that.
Yeah. Well, and the injury part too, like having things cut short from injury is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
So I think I'd rather go out just going, yeah, okay, I got 10 national titles, and
I think there's a lot of people that would choose that though, which would choose the highest total of all time, even if they got injured, because that's what people are considering GOAT status is. Like, you totaled the most of anybody ever, you're the GOAT, even though you only did it once. And I can't get on board with that.
Yeah. Well, I guess in a way it's kind of talking about like just getting the best total of your life, because I still feel like I left weight on the bar. Like I never got that highest total. I always had like a really good squat, or really, like uneven. I still feel like I had like 60 more pounds on the bar that I could have put, and I never got that highest total. And I chased it and chased it and chased it, and then I had my career cut short from injury.
Not
I would have liked to have that.
So there's a difference here. You elected you didn't elect to get hurt, but you elected to consider that your career ending, whatever.
It just kind of happened at a time where it just coincided with life events and
Right. But that's
COVID,
different.
and
Like
it was hard to come back from.
a career like cut short from injury means like you can't compete it, you can't train or compete again. So
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I mean by that. Like, so I don't know
yeah,
that you can say that.
I was trying to. Okay, which brings me to the new lifter tip, because I felt like you just like took a I don't know, a virtual cigar and kind of like ground it in my face on this one. Because I think you aimed it right at me. I'm like, oh boy. So the new lifter tip: you can enjoy training and competing without having your top priority in life being to get stronger and improve your total.
Yeah. I think, yes, powerlifting is a sport. Yes, it's a competitive sport, but it's also a hobby. Like there's a lot of people that play checkers as a hobby. That's also a competitive sport. I think we'll say chess. People play chess as a hobby. Like it's okay to continue to play chess without really trying to improve your game and get better. You just do it because you enjoy it. Same thing with powerlifting. Like you can train and compete without really like doing all the little things necessary to get to that next level or get to your true potential. Some people do that and that's fine, but it's important to know, I guess, the difference. Like if you really in your heart, you really want to get to that next level and really be the best you can be, well, you got to do some things and prioritize some things that may not be the easiest or most comfortable thing to do. But you don't have to. Like if it's not your main priority, then it's okay. And I think there's a lot of people that, there's a lot of people that are all or nothing, or there's a lot of people that are, look at people that just do it recreationally, we'll say, and be like, well, they don't really, they're not true power lifters. And I think that's crap. Like if you're getting on the platform and competing, you're a power lifter, period. If you're doing it for fun, like that's great. Like people should, but there's also going to be people that take it a little more seriously and they want to do everything, all the small things to get better and compete to win. And I think that's great too. So, which the tip here kind of brings me to a question I had too, because I see a lot of, I don't know, I've been, for whatever reason, been on listening or looking at too much social media lately, but coaches, like there's a lot of people asking about, what does it take to be the best coach? And I've always looked at it as the best coach is the ones that can communicate well, know their stuff, and will get the most out of their athletes. And that's been kind of my like baseline for what I consider a good coach. But I was thinking about this question. So, let's say I want to be a powerlifting coach and I want to work with people that just want to do it for fun and they don't really care about, really getting better. They don't want to get hurt. They're just trying to be healthy and active. Well, maybe the best coach for them is somebody that, doesn't have to be the one that, has developed the most competitive lifters or whatever. Maybe it's somebody that just builds the best community and, everybody has a good time and they have, a lot of fun working out and competing together. And maybe their total in 5 years doesn't go up. Maybe it goes down, but they're healthy. They're having fun. Who's to say that that's not, the coach didn't do their job or they're not a good coach. So I don't know. I guess it's changing my perspective a little bit on, I guess, how because I've always looked at it from the competitive side. I guess like powerlifting for me has always been, it's always been to compete, to get better, to get to that top level. And I would say, I would say pretty much all of our lifters, that's kind of their mentality too. But I don't think that's the only way to go. I think there's some people that maybe are turned away, and maybe I'm responsible. Maybe people have started to train with us before and we've taken it too seriously. And maybe they just, this isn't for me. I just wanted to do this for fun. Cause I guess, for a long time, I've just had the assumption, like if you come to train, you're coming to be, be the best you can be. So we're going to get after it. Well, maybe that's not people's long-term goal. So again, that comes back to communication, and maybe that's something that, I should have had those conversations a little bit more with people. I don't know. I guess maybe, I think that's a good point.
I never thought of it that way. Right. It's hard when you're an all or nothing person to see it from the other way as like, oh, this could just be fun. Oh, I guess it could be. And I've always said, if I wasn't having fun, I would stop. At one point when I stopped having fun, I just kept going though.
Yeah. Well, I think, the competitive side is like, no matter how much it sucks, no matter, how many aches and pains I have, like I'm going to do what I got to do to get better and, reach that, get that 60 pounds on your total that you haven't reached yet because you're capable of it. And, maybe some people aren't motivated by that. I mean, that's always been how I look at it. That's my motivation. Like as a coach, even that's my motivation, is to get my lifters to that next level. And I kind of put that on them. So maybe there's, and if anybody on the team is listening and this is not your outlook, let me know, because that's okay too. Like, we don't have to push so hard to get better. If you just want to do it for fun, that's fine. But that's, that's just been kind of how I always looked at it.
Right. It puts a lot of, pressure on yourself to always be like, I'm always going to be improving. I'm always going to be getting better. I'm always, and I think there's a lot of outcome-based pressure in general, like from yourself, but also like if people see you competing in something, they always want to know the outcome, like what happened, like the numbers, the hard outcome. And I think that can be a turnoff.
Yeah. And I guess, well, one reason that this kind of popped onto my mind too is a lot of people I see a lot of people, and this used to really piss me off. I used to see people posting like, had a great meet, went 9 for 9. But all the lifts were easy and like they could have done another 5 kilos to place another place higher. Like, why would you not put it on and go for it? And I couldn't get my mind around like the whole point is to compete. Like, why would you do that? Well, maybe for some people maybe they're not there to compete. Maybe they're there just to have a good time, hit lifts and feel good about themselves. And that's okay. And I guess that's taken me a little while to see that side of it, I guess.
Joshua's maturing.
From a competitive standpoint, we want every kilo like made. We don't want to leave anything. So.
Right. So that you can someday become a goat. See how I brought that all around?
Yeah. Full circle. Nice.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes. Well, I think that's all we've got for this week.
Yep. So we will catch you guys next week. Have a good one. Later.
Bye now.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.